We are from Carlsen Group and we are going to present to you about the Sicilian defense. Okay, so we are students from University Technology Petronas that is currently studying for subject KSP1171 Chess for semester January 2021. We were assigned for a group project by our instructor or lecturer, Mr. Abdul Rahman Muhammad Amin. Our group members consist of 8 students, which are Nifail Irshad, Muhammad Firdaus, Muhammad Haziq, Muhammad Adham, Bernard Kullings, Izmi Azam, Rumbatul Shah, and also Zanian. Okay, so those are the names for Carlsen group members. Okay, so now let's move forward. Okay, so as shown on the slide, that is our group poster for our project. So we want people to learn about Sicilian defense with us by watching our YouTube video. By watching our YouTube video, a lot of knowledge about this defense can be gained, which are the theory of Sicilian defense, the advantages and also its disadvantages of using this defense, and also we put a few tournament examples that use this defense variation, and a lot of explanation are being given in this presentation. Okay, so now let's move forward to our big presentation and hear the details about Sicilian defense.
Hi, my name is Zimzenya, and in this video, the Carlsen group is going to present about chess opening. So we are going to focus on Sicilian defense. The Sicilian defense have a general move where when white move to e4, black will move to c5. Okay, this is considered as one of the most popular moves against the e4 opening. The aim of the Sicilian defense is to control the center, prevent the white from coming to d4. This move is so good that many white players decided to play d4 first instead of e4 first. Now in this video, we are going to cover the open Sicilian variation. Open Sicilian variation is where white decided to trade the d4 pawn. Okay, there are 4 major types of open Sicilian variation: the Najdorf variation, the dragon variation, classical variation, and last but not least, the Scheveningen variation. So first of all, we'll be looking at the Najdorf variation. Okay, Najdorf variation will be looked like this. Okay, the last move a6, in my opinion, is a very good move. Okay, it guards the b5 lot. Okay, this is very important, and besides, a6 also prepare the black side for the queen side expansion. Okay, attacking from the queen side. Okay, next we will be looking at the dragon variation. The opening of the variation is all the same. Okay, just that the last move will be different. Okay, in dragon's variation, we'll be going for g6 instead of a6. Okay, this is to prepare the French shadow bishop. Okay, take for example, if white move to e3, bishop to g7. Okay, this is so-called breath fire along the diagonal. Okay, and then next, the black will aim to castling at the king side. Okay, after castling, you can see that here is a very solid defense. Okay, but there's a disadvantage. Okay, if the bishop is somehow exchanged, okay, the king will be left vulnerable.
Okay, so hi, I am Nurin Batrisha, and I'm going to explain briefly about the 3rd and 4th variation of Sicilian defense, which is the classical variation and also the Scheveningen variation. So for the classical variation, it leads black to a sharp and creative position, and also it applies a lot of pressure on the centerpiece. And on top of that, it provides black a solid structure by maintaining its pawn structure. So next, I am going to show you how this classical variation is being run. Okay, so first, white will move to e4 and then black moves to c5. Okay, and white to nf3. Okay, and then d6. Okay, and then white d4, then cx d4, and then nx d4, and then n to f6, and then white n to c3. Okay, and then the last movement, black n to c6. Okay. Okay, so for this variation, black does not play step 5 to a6 as in like the Najdorf variation, but you rather develop a piece instead by moving the knight to effective square c6. So as the knights, both knights are on the classical f6 and c6, that is why this variation is being called as classical. Okay, so for this variation, which is Cavanian variation, the first 4 steps are the same with classical variation, but for the last steps, it is different. So this variation, this movement, it provides black for a solid defense while also being flexible. And this movement, this opening, it's not really aggressive, but it allows black in getting to know white's strategy. So now we're going to see how this variation is being moved. Okay, so for this Cavanian variation movement, first white moves to e4, and then black to c5. Okay, and then white to nf3, and then black to d6. Okay, and then white to d4, and then black cx d4, and then white nx d4, and then black nf6, and then white to nc3, and lastly black to e6. So as you can see, for this Cavanian variation, the moves are very same with the classical variation. However, the last step for black are different, which is to e6, and this is because we want to know the white strategy, and from this we now know that white used the classical variation for its opening. Okay, so that is all for the introduction to Sicilian defense, and now I am going to pass this presentation to our other team members to explain about the advantages of Sicilian defense.
Hi, my name is Nifal Irshad Yusof, and now I'm going to tell you the advantages of Sicilian defense. So the first one is, it is the most popular defense as black. So the Sicilian defense is the most popular defense against white opening e4 and is used extensively at top level play. It is so popular because it creates an unbalanced position where black will often be able to gain the initiative more easily than in most other defenses. So many chess champions actually prefer to start the first move d4 because of how well the Sicilian defense is. The next one is two central pawn. So Sicilian defense is a very aggressive defense and immediately stacks claim at the center, denying white the double pawn on e4 and d4. Eventually, the c-pawn of black is usually exchanged, opening the semi-open c5 for black to bring his queen or rook to add pressure to the queenside attack. So also, when you get to exchange side c-pawn for a centralized d-pawn of white and get to have an extra pawn in the center, it may prove to be important in the middle game and perhaps very useful in the endgame for getting a pass pawn. And lastly, strong exchange sacrifices. So black has a lot of options going into the middle game. He can choose to either keep it safe and play for a draw by piece exchanges followed by a normal endgame, or he can choose to attack. Another major plus point of this opening is that it provides an advantageous endgame for black even when both have equal pieces and pawns after a barren middle game. So later on, we are going to annotate some games using Sicilian defense with different variations, and it will show you why I mentioned all these advantages. So that's all for me. Moving on to the next point.
Alright, hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Adham and I'll be talking about the disadvantages of the Sicilian defense. So I've made some research about the Sicilian defense and looked into the perspective of chess masters and their opinions about this type of defense, and from that I've concluded that this Sicilian defense have three main disadvantages. So the first one is that this Sicilian defense will cause rapid development from white, which then leads to the second disadvantage of the Sicilian defense, which is kingside attack from white. So these two disadvantages are actually linked with one another, and the third one is the passive looking setup from black. So from what you can see here, you may think that the Sicilian defense is advantages for white and disadvantages for black, but actually that's not the case here. In my opinion, what actually determines is not the position but actually the knowledge on the Sicilian defense, because the Sicilian defense have a lot different types of variants, and from that, let's say white have, let's say, from about two or three, a few types of variant knowledge, and black has almost black knows almost all of them. So from that we can see that actually black is advantageous. So what determines is more to the knowledge rather than the position. So those are the disadvantages of the Sicilian defense. Okay, thank you.
Hi and Assalamualaikum, I am Muhammad Haziq. I will explain about the Sicilian Defense Dragon version. So, what is Sicilian Dragon? So, the Sicilian Dragon version is one of the rare yet sharpest chess opening. It is one of the most fair counter-attacking option from black against the white move at e4. And this Sicilian Dragon is named for the similarity of its structure to the constellation Draco. And for your information, this Sicilian Dragon opening has been played in World Championship match and was used by Kasparov to defeat Veshi Anand twice in their World Championship match in 1995. So let's look at the board. The Sicilian Dragon begins with the white move pawn to e4. Black respond by moving pawn to c5. White move knight to f3. Black replies by moving pawn to d6. And continue, white move pawn to d4. Black takes d4 pawn. White knight take d4 pawn. Continue, black move knight to f6. White respond by moving knight to c3. And now the signature move of Sicilian Dragon, where pawn to g6, where black intention is to deploy the bishop on g7, where it attacks some in the center and put pressure on the white inside. And in this Sicilian Dragon, black quite often find that he has aggressive and well development as the bishop pressure on g7 and have the ability to move the black queenside pawn forward, and even find the opportunity for the rook to occupy semi-open flank on c8 and join the attack. The main idea of this Sicilian Dragon are to protect king with a minor piece and put the bishop on the longest diagonal of the board. And I think the weakness of this Sicilian Dragon is black could not control the center. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hello, I am Ismail, and now I will show you the tournament example for Sicilian defense. And for this Sicilian defense, I choose the Rossolimo attack variation that is played between Magnus Carlsen and Daniel Dubov on Opera Euro Rapid Quarterfinals Day 2 on 10 February 2021. So we begin with the normal Sicilian defense, with Magnus play as white and Daniel Dubov as black. And I start with e4, and the move starts with c5 and the normal Sicilian defense, and Magnus continue with the knight to f3, and the both played the old Sicilian with knight to c6. Now, for the Rosselino attack variation, Magnus play bishop b6, directly threatening the king and threatening to take the knight in the future. So now, Black has a few options, but the most common response for Black is to play pawn g6, opening opposition for the king side bishop to do the fianchetto. So in this case, yes, to both play g6, and Magnus perform castling on the king side. Now the both continue fianchetto, the bishop on the king side, staring the long diagonal. And now Magnus has few options as white. He can either takes this knight, or maybe he can also place his queen at d2, supporting its bishop. But in this case, Magnus play bishop takes knight on c6. Based on the chess analysis, few top games played by the Grandmaster. One of them is between Magnus Carlsen and Anish Giri, and Magnus had won on 2019. So the rest of the game continue as usual. Pawn takes bishop, and Magnus rook to e1, and the games continue until almost 64 move later. So on the move 49, Black bishop to f5. In my opinion, Magnus can try either maneuvering and bring its king, trying to threatening to capture the rook, because as you can see here, the rook is actually trapped. The rook cannot go anywhere. So let's say Magnus play here d2, maybe here, maybe here, and in this move, maybe he can sacrifice his rook. I think this move, other move here is threatened to be captured. So the games end around 64 move, because they both run out of time, and this actually the longest game between Daniel and Lubov and Magnus Carlsen, because normally on the previous game they only play around 30 moves. So that's all from me. Analysis for Sicilian defense, Rosselino attack variation, with Black playing the fianchetto variation.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Firdaus. So the next tournament example of Sicilian defense is the Nature variation, and I have choose one game played by two chess grandmaster, which is Magnus Carlsen from Norway play as a black, and Arkady Sneijder from Germany play as a white. And the first move played by white is e4, the common opening to counter the center. And Magnus respond with c5, the Sicilian defense, and white play knight to f3 to control the center and also to active the pieces. And Magnus play d6 to support the pawn at c5. And the next move played by a white is d4, which is to give a pressure the pawn at c5. And Magnus respond with pawn at c5, capture the pawn at d4. And after that, white also respond with knight capture pawn at d4. And then Magnus play knight to f6. And then the next move played by white is knight to c3 to active his pieces and also to control the center. And then here comes the natural version with a move of a6 played by black, and that's all the move in the natural version. And for me, I think a6 move is a very good move because it prevents the white square bishop from coming out to b5 and give a check to black king and also to start the attack. And basically, the first 5 moves played by both sides is the common move played in the natural variation. And I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Now, for Sicilian defense, I will present about the Schwenningen variation. First of all, my name is Bernard. Without further ado, let's move on to the first slide. What is a Schwenningen variation? It is an opening that is a line of the open Sicilian characterized by black, setting up a small center with pawns on D6 and E6. The E pawn is moved to E6 in order to guard the D5 square rather than to play it on E5. Moving the E pawn also prepares for this bishop move to E7 in order to allow the king and the castle to do castling. Now, I will present about the moves which are involved in the Schwenningen variation. These attacking movements which are done by the white piece are known as Keres attack. First, let us take a look at number 1. White piece will move at E4, double step from the initial position. Same goes to the black piece, which move its pawn from C7 to C5. Then the knight to F3. It is not shown here because this is the final position in which this movement are done. But the knight is moved to F3, followed by pawn move to D6. Then a white pawn will move to D4 before the knight is placed here. There was pawn which are placed over here, and then C5 will capture a pawn which was initially placed at D4, which was then captured by the knight which was placed at F3. It's captured D4. In order to counter that, the black knight will move to F6. Finally, the white knight is moved to C3, and finally E7 moved to E6, which is one step from its initial position. So these are the movements that are involved in the Schwenningen variation. Keres attack was first used against Schwenningen defense in 1943 when Keres himself played against Bogol-Juboc in Salzburg, which shows the game ended in 1-0 in favor of Keres. Against Kepler in Moscow, 1947, ended in a draw. And finally, versus P. Clark in Leipzig Olympiad, Final A, 1960, and the game ended in Keres' favor. And that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay then, that is all from us. Thank you very much everyone for watching this video of us explaining about Sicilian defense. I hope you guys have a nice day, and thank you again everyone. Assalamualaikum and bye.